All right, let's keep going because I'm telling myself I'm going to finish this today. So again, it says it is now generally acknowledged that the nobles, and again, this is going to probably be part three um, of a short history of the Hebrews, the exile and restoration. And it says, it is now generally acknowledged that the noble and edifying stories of the book of Daniel are to be regarded as examples of um, Haggadah, the Jewish name for religious narratives based indeed upon historical facts, but dealing with them freely for purposes of instruction and edification. They do not profess to record the exact incidents of Babylonian history. They merely adapt the history in such a way as may be promote with the writer's immediate object, which apparently is to shew how the God of Israel controls events by his providence. Okay? And then we're going to go ahead and look at providence because we look at province, but let's look and see what the providence is talking about. And again, I feel like this is also like possibly going to be talking about a place or a person, a vessel. In the in the way that it is used. So it says late 14th century foresight, prudent anticipation, from Old French providence, a divine providence, a foresight, 12th century, and directly from Latin providentia, foresight, precaution, foreknowledge. Wow. All right. Look ahead, prepare, supply, act with foresight ahead to see. Wow. Okay, I knew we were going to be talking about something about seers. I knew it. Okay. To wade. Okay, from pi root wade or weed. It's almost like wade in the water. Okay, I'm just playing. Okay, I don't know why that, but I just went there. Yeah, then. Okay. So um, Providence usually capitalized God as a beneficent caretaker. 16th century, uh, God's beneficent care or guidance. Aubrey. Um, wow. So yeah, that God's guidance. Wow. So again, I mean, I feel like it's like dealing directly with source. Short for divine providence, etc. Let's see. Providence in WordNet, the definition in now as a noun is the guardianship and control exercised by a deity. The second definition is a manifestation. So again, we're talking about manifesting again, almost like manifesting destiny in a sense of God's foresightful care for his creatures, those that are created, huh? The prudence and care exercised by someone in the management of resources. Okay, and then two, province and noun, or it's just listed as two, but there were four above this one. The capital and largest city of Rhode Island. Oh, okay. Now see, okay, and then looking at this map over here. Okay, all right. Okay, okay. Located in northeastern Rhode Island on the Narragansett, and I believe that's the name of a tribe or a group. Bay, site of Brown University. Oh, so again, I don't know whenever I think about Brown University, I don't know the characteristics or anything about the place, but I always think about John Brown. I don't know. Okay, and then the related terms are wade or weed, to see. Okay, improvidence, a lack of foresight or rashness. Um, Again, forward front, pertaining to foresight, intelligence, discretion, foresight, wisdom to see, prudence. Okay. So again, well, yeah. So we see what that's talking about. Yeah, forms of advice or clairvoyance, guidance, Hades, history, kaleidoscope. I mean, and almost that's just like the way, even that I feel like some of us are able to see. And it's like a kaleidoscope of information. It's just like a mixture and like this thing, that like this articulate way. I don't know about. It says connected to account on narration of some happenings. Again, like a narrative, like giving a narrative. A learned, sagacious, cunning, wise, way of proceeding manner, a mental capacity to know. So again, it's dealing with Gnosticism. I feel like a sense of knowing, clearly seen knowledge. I know. Okay, to know, to see, news. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So again, advice, related terms is like advice, belvedere, rise, turret, or open story atop a house. Wow. Atop a house, kind of like even like a leader or a chieftain or a chiefess. Clairvoyance, a paranormal gift of seeing things throughout of sight. Clairvoyant, having psychic gifts, characteristics of powers of clairvoyance. Deja vu, feeling of having previously experienced a situation. Again, some of us are here again, or tapping into that part of us where we can access those records, because again, the books are open. It also says Druid down here. Then it says envy and jealousy, again, because I feel like that stems or circulates around those of us that are sitting in our truth or in our gifts and using them. And that leads to, demise again, because I think some people, don't like it. Plainly seen or perceived, manifest is evident. Okay. To guide, to lead, direct, and conduct. Okay. Let's see. It's also saying Hades under here, a god of the dead in Greek mythology. Again, when we're talking about that, the abode of the dead spirits. Again, I feel like it has something to do with necromancy, to a certain extent, which I think I've done a video on that already and what I think about it, and we looked up the definition and everything. Again, story. Okay, so there's so many. Like I've never seen this many related terms for a term, but let's keep moving. Okay, and again, I just do that, and again, it's good to do it on your own, because this is something when somebody else is doing it, but when you're looking at it, your eyes are able to examine it and take it in a certain way where it kind of like categorizes itself to help us, magnify, I feel, on things. So let's see where we were. Okay, events by his providence. Okay, how he disposes and turns the hearts of the kings as seems best to his wisdom. How he protects his faithful servants in danger and brings them through affliction to honor. The writer's design was to encourage those who were suffering in the persecution of Antiochus by depicting patterns of faith and consistency for their imitation. Incidentally, it is interesting to notice how true to history is the portrait of Nebuchadnezzar, the haughty and powerful monarch whose chief boast it was that he had built or restored the temples of the gods and had made Babylon the most magnificent of the ancient cities. Okay, and then down here at the bottom in the footnotes, it says something about Daniel is represented as the recipient of a series of apocalyptic revelations in regard to Israel's future. These chapters show clear traces of the author's and acquaintance with events in the reign of Antiochus and F Ephi wait Epihan somebody, okay? Epipanes and his predecessor. If the story of Daniel is historical, it is strange that no mention of him occurs in the Old Testament narrative of the restoration, and that his name is omitted in the list of Israelitish worthies mentioned in uh, Ecclesiastics, maybe. All right. So let's keep going. And it says the position of Daniel and his friends, however, was clearly exceptional. We must now turn our attention to the condition of the mass of the Hebrew exiles. The prophet Jeremiah had predicted that the period of Israel's captivity would be in round numbers 70 years. Jeremiah 24, I'm thinking, and 12. Between the fall of Jerusalem in 1587 and the actual date of Cyrus' decree for the return of the Jews to Palestine, only 48 years elapsed. Of the circumstances of the Jews during the space of time, we find more scattered hints in the book of Ezekiel and in other large fragments of Hebrew prophecy. Okay. On the whole, their condition was outwardly peaceful, okay, and fairly prosperous. To a great extent, the exiles followed the advice of Jeremiah, who had encouraged them to pray for the land of their captivity. Again, this land could be representing a certain land, and it can also be talking about the people of that land or a certain individual. It says, for in the peace thereof they should have peace. Okay, they gradually acquired land and houses. Their sons and daughters married. They lived in separate communities and were apparently allowed to maintain some extent of social customs and organizations of their native land. So again, we're talking about a native land, and a native land is not the original. You want to do etymology on native? If I've done it on this channel already. Native versus aboriginal versus earth. So the offspring. Autochthonous. So again, we've broken those down several times before, right? So the native would not be the original. It would be, again, an offspring of the original. But that doesn't take away from, like the belonging of. I think people get that because we all here now and it is what it is, right? Okay, and everybody's somewhat mixed up to some degree, so it is what it is, right? That the treatment of the Jews by their captors was on the whole favorable is shown by the fact that their captive king Jehoiakim, or Chin, was after the lapse of some years released from prison and honored by evil Merodach with special kindness. And this is from 2 Kings. It says, let's see. And I don't know why I have stars right here. But I mean, because I probably wrote this stuff so long ago. All right. In Babylon, the faithful remnant of those who had earnestly embraced the teachings of the prophet became the nucleus of a new people. There is a reason to believe that this remnant had to undergo severe sufferings. You damn right. It says effects of the captivity. From time to time, especially. Okay, let's see. Wait a minute. It also says Ezekiel down here implied that the Jewish elders and judges continued to exercise their office in Babylon. So again, this office is making me think of a sense of observation in a sense, right? It says during the interval before the fall of Jerusalem, false nations, and I have stars on false and nation. I don't know why, and I underlined Jerusalem. All right, so the fall of Jerusalem, false nationalist prophets appeared who endeavored by the elusive promises to incite the exiles to rise and throw off the Chaldean yoke. And it is likely enough that such movements were sternly and perhaps cruelly repressed without distinction between innocents and guilty. Wow. Moreover, the faithful few were sorely complexed by the fact that though since the beginning of Josiah's reformation, they had earnestly set themselves to seek Jehovah in his own appointed way, they were yet involved in crushing calamity which had overtaken the guilty mass of their compatriots. Compatriots? I don't know. That's what it says. Thus, let me see if I can look it up real quick. Fellow country. Because I was about to say compadres, but okay. But it says fellow countrymen, inhabitant of the same country with another. So again, an inhabitant is still not the original. It's someone that was brought in, kind of like a plant, kind of like, again, but still, it's. I mean, so again, it's up to you to discern what we're talking about. We have to decipher the fact that there are groups that are going to be organic to the soil, and there are groups that were grafted in. And many times throughout his story, the ones that were grafted in or planted there by outside foreign energies or foreign bloodlines are the ones that end up in power again. And so again, I feel like that's one of my main things right now, to show that the majority of us, the 90% of the American origines, are ignorant to the fact that, again, we may see, people are building nations and stuff like that, but then there's also counterparts of some of these individuals that know the real deep-rooted religious. You think they don't read these books and they don't know this history? They do. And they are going to know these things because this is the very reason why they are there, to make sure that to make it harder, not to make sure, because again, I'm not saying it's impossible, but to make it harder for those and distract those that actually are the ones that are supposed to be coming into these inheritances, in the guise of helping, in a sense, like it said in the beginning, in the guise of helping, but really, could we have gone to more extent to do so? Okay, and that's why I'm saying about, like, people, it kind of aggravates me nowadays, and I'm about to step off the subject for a second. I think somebody was saying something, Trump did something or whatever. I've seen a clip of it on YouTube about 200 and hundreds of people dying within short spans of time. In Chicago, there's other places where this is going on. And we have to look a little deeper. Because, again, we might say the police, but then in his eyes, in another clip that I think I was watching last night, I think it was another clip where he was saying that the police need to be re-incited. And I'm thinking, like, wait a minute, when we were talking about this whole defund the police, what happened with that? Did they defund them? Did they not defund them? What did it mean? Even if they didn't, what happened? What changed? Because what he was saying was that the police have to be able to operate again. So if they're not operating, then who's operating? And then again, in that case, we have it where people that look like you and don't look like you could be in the community doing malicious things under the guise of gang activity and killings, and it could be under the guise and they could be also doing something else, a harvesting almost of information, bodily parts. We know that this is true. Also, there's deeds and rights to land and stuff that's coming along with these particular people. Why are so many people dying? And so it makes me mad when we even sit there and say we killing each other. We know our people when it comes, like, that's why I like that this is saying we will be able to decipher the Hebrews by, their works or whatever, right? So again, if we think about that still, like, it doesn't matter what color, right? It's about the deeds. It's about the works. It's about testing the person or the spirit of the person. And so, again, we have to look at this because we know normally our people, again, if we want to break it down and talk about so-called Black American Aborigines, it's not really in our nature. We know, and it's saying in here that you're going to know, right? So it's not in the nature of us to be doing any of this. So again, there must be people here that are spiritually dead, or not even, the same as us. They may look like us, but they're not really, they're soulless beings or something like this, where these other things matter to them. The material things, the riches and things like this matter more. And as long as they're fine, then the rest don't have to be. And I'm not saying that all of these individuals think like that, but systematically it shows that, again, what kind of work have we been doing? How much work have we truly been doing to truly so-called free the people, if only a small percentage, maybe even just 1% of us are nation building with people that we have been dealing with, or maybe your immediate family and stuff like that, but that you've been dealing with, it's not really being expanded out throughout the nation. So most of these people, there's only a small amount of people that are aware of how to, where to, and what to do, which leaves some people that are very well versed in this information to be, again, plotting and planning out of greed and things like this to consume more. And again, it possibly will have something about them being used as pawns or puppets. And again, without them even knowing, hey, you do this kind of research, come do it over here for us with this thing like this. And then, and then the people behind you might be the very ones that are going behind you, and you think you're doing something good, and then they're taking that information and using it for something vicious. So again, I'm just saying, being very careful with our surroundings and who you surround yourself and give, I guess, your energy to. Like, that's something that I'm having to learn as well. Yeah. And it's just a deep, calm countryman, patriot. I know I see trio in here, and it was saying about 3, right? Calm. Okay, so again, patriot, 1590, patriot, Middle French. Let's see. Of one's fathers. Oh, because that almost made me think about you're like your father, a liar from the beginning. Wow. From patrios, of one's father. So again, this whole thing about some kind of inheritance of a father that has been split, it just is making me think of something. Fatherland. Genitive, patrios, a father. So again, yeah, leave their mother and father and cleave to the wife. Applied to barbarians who had only a common being use of Greek, who had a common something free state. Patriots, okay, meaning loyal and disinterested lover of and defender of one's country and its interest. One whose ruling passion is love of his country. And that country can be, again, a certain individual. Like, I'm just even thinking America, right? But again, someone that represents that, or individuals that represent that. It's sometimes used for a factitious disturber of the government. Hold on one second. Okay. Whew. So it says here, the name of patriots had become 1744 by word of derision. Horace Walpole scarcely exaggerated when he had said that the most popular declaration which a candidate could make on the hustings was that he had never been and never would be a patriot. Okay, so again, this is just referencing resistance, a movement of overrun countries in the World War II, and it has usually had a positive sense of American English, where the phony and rascally variety has been consigned to a word, patrioteer, in 1928. Okay, so anyways, you could look that up on your own. I don't want to spend too much time. One who loves and defends his or her country. Huh? Okay. A father, he who begets a child, nearest male ancestor, also any lineal male ancestor. Okay. So anyways, yeah, so let's keep going here. All right. The narrow and superstitious conception of Jehovah, which prevailed among the Jews before the exile, could not resist the disintegrating influence of the heathenism of Chaldea. Consequently, a multitude of Jews not only lost hope in the future of their race, but actually fell away into idolatry. Others sought to enrich themselves by trade and usury. I think I did something on usury a while back. And that was another book I think that was really good. Can you close the door, please? And the lukewarm and worldly minded who practically abandoned their ancestral faith, taunted and revealed those who regarded the capacity as a just retribution for national sin and clung steadfastly to the spiritual hopes and ideals of prophecy. Wow. I got this all scribbled up and lined up. Wow. Wow. 222. 222. Wow. That number has been, oh my goodness. Okay, y'all. Hold on. I gotta take a break. My throat is starting, people calling, and I got to go in here and reflect on this real quick. Again, thanks for watching. Don't forget to comment, rate, subscribe, or share. And join us in the Facebook group American Aborigines Unchained for more alternative information, past, present, and future. I'll see you guys later.